Welcome to this yoga practice. Today what we're going to do is complete practice, about 30 minutes long, which is going to include some breath work to begin with, some strength work, some flexibility and a nice relaxation at the end. So let's find a comfortable position. If you have difficulty sitting, then make sure that you use a cushion or a block so it lifts up the lower back and it gives more freedom and takes the pressure out the lower back and allows the hips to relax that little bit more. You've got a little bit more movement in there. And I'd like you to try and concentrate on bringing some alignment into the spine. So try and avoid this rounding into the posture. Try and create a little bit of opening through the front of the body and imagine the spine perfectly placed, one vertebrae on top of the other, and try and see if you can lift and find length through the spine. So when we're relaxing and not thinking about our posture, we automatically round down into the middle back. So we want to try and get this energy line all the way from the sit bone, from the tailbone, all the way to the crown of the head. And it allows the body to find this space, especially when we're trying to ground our practice and connecting with the breath. So let's first of all find this comfortable position that works for you. Having your hands on your knees or in your lap, whichever you find comfortable for your shoulders, allows the shoulders completely relax. And then let's close our eyes and take a few rounds of breath, just enjoying the stillness that the breath brings you. So we can take some nice deep breaths, and the start of the practice allows you to notice where you are at this moment, where your distractions, your stress levels, your tightness and tension. It allows you to notice how comfortable that you feel in this position. Because what we do is we close our eyes, shutting off that main sense and drawing all that awareness into the body. So if we've got our eyes open, we're looking out. What we want to do is find that connection between the mind and the body and try and create a distance between the activities and the distractions of the mind, that constant chatter, and bring our awareness into the body, trying to listen to what the body's telling us. We tend to only take notice of the body when we are in pain or discomfort or ill. The body's constantly sending us messages, telling us to either relax, slow down, smile, laugh, work a little bit harder, create more flexibility. There's always subtle signals coming from our body. And we want to learn to find that connection again between the mind and the body. And we can do that with the breath. So the first thing we'll do is notice when we're breathing, where we're breathing. Are we just breathing in the chest? Or do we feel the stomach expanding? So are we using those stomach muscles throughout the breath? And if we're using the stomach muscles, then we will automatically be activating the muscles in the lower back as well. Because the core is not just the stomach, it's that band of muscles from the diaphragm all the way down to the pelvis and around the back, including the pelvic floor muscles. So as we breathe and find that length, can we expand deep into the muscles and allow the use of those muscles in the breath? Are the ribs expanding and releasing? Does the breath feel soft and long or tight and quick? So if we spend our whole time breathing into the chest, then we're subtly creating this fight or flight response in the body. This bubbling stress underneath the surface that's having a huge impact on every single cell in your body. So let's take 4 nice deep inhales. long, deep, expansive inhales, noticing whether the shoulders move, the shoulder blades move, the back, the ribs, the stomach. Do we feel open to the breath? And as we breathe out, it's this soft, deep exhale. And listen to that breath as well. The sound of the exhale sends another signal to the body that we're going into the parasympathetic nervous system, out of fight and flight. And that's where we want to be, especially if we're doing an evening practice, trying to let go of the stress in the body. Let's have 2 more nice, deep, connected breaths. And now let's bring a little bit of movement into the body. So I'm going to change the position of my hands and bring them onto the knees, palms face down. And I want us to create this cat-cow, seated cat-cow position. As we breathe in, we're expanding into the chest and taking the elbows back. So the chest is coming forward. So notice it's not the chin jutting forward, it's the chest that's coming forward. And the shoulder blades then gently come in. And as we breathe out, allow the body to round back, bringing the chin down onto the chest. And we get this nice rounding. The core muscles get pulled back towards the spine, the navel gets drawn back towards the spine, and you can take that even deeper by creating this pelvic tilt and engaging the pelvic floor muscles. So let's do 4 rounds of this really deep connected breathing. As we breathe in, let's close our eyes and really focus on the breath. We're expanding, the chin comes up slightly, the chest comes out as though we would be in that cow position. The shoulder blades are coming together. Don't crane the neck, but feel the chest coming forward. And as we breathe out, rounding down, coming into the cat position as the navel comes in towards the spine, the shoulder blades opening, and we're rounding down. And let's have another one. Breathing in, expanding, finding as much movement into the spine as possible. Lifting into the chest, the shoulder blades coming together. And then releasing down on the exhale. Drawing the navel, engaging the pelvic floor muscles, the navel coming back towards the spine, the chin coming down. Let's have another one. Find expanse. Get some movement into the spine. Shoulders are moving. What we're doing is squeezing into those shoulders, those muscles underneath the shoulder blades, and then as we release, the fresh blood's coming back into those muscles, relaxing and cleansing as we draw back on the exhale. And let's have one more, bringing the body forward, the elbows coming into the body, finding expansion into the chest, the shoulder blades coming together, drawing in and activating the back muscles, and then release. Let's come back to a neutral position. And now what we're going to do is create small circles with our hips. So it's a very small movement as we're rounding. So the anchor point is our pelvic floor and sit bones as we're coming round into the position. So the flexibility in your lower back is going to dictate how far that you can move into this position, but it's a wonderful way to start moving and mobilizing the digestive system. So we're getting some squeeze and release and some massage movements into the stomach, gently rounding. And let's try and keep some softness into the shoulders, moving in and out of this position. Rounding down, and let's go the other direction, rounding into this position, and let's get a little bit deeper as well, really using the anchor point, engaging the pelvic floor muscles, relaxing the shoulders and creating as big a circles as possible, keeping the pelvic floor muscles engaged. Let's go the opposite direction, nice and full and round, creating this fluid movement throughout the whole of the upper body, and then relax. Now let's bring our hands into Namaste. And then we want to, again, using the shoulders, we're going to interlace the fingers and take the arms out in front. So you can see from a side angle, I've got this long structure here. So we're trying to keep the arms straight. And then all we're doing is drawing this structure back into the body. So activating the shoulders. Let me go on sideways and see if that's easier to see in the video. So we've got the arms out in front and we're drawing the shoulders back, getting as much movement into that shoulder joint as possible. And notice we're not jutting the chin out, it's all into the shoulders. Let me come back into the front position here, and then we're going to do another 6 together. So keeping the arms at shoulder height, drawing them back and then out in front, really targeting the deep bedded muscles underneath the shoulders. And you're going to start feeling them warm up. You can start feeling those muscles activating. This is a really good exercise if you had a lot of tension around the neck. Gently activating. Let's have 2 more. Bring back and release. And then a nice deep inhale. Back and release, and then dropping the hands down, palms face up, and just allow all that prana, that heat, to start radiating down the neck, down the shoulders. What it is the fresh blood's coming rushing into the area. So let's have 4 deep breaths and really oxygenate that blood. Taking some deep breaths in, drawing all that energy into the body, oxygenating the blood, and just enjoying that energy radiating around the body. And then opening our eyes. Now what we're going to do is we're going to work on the side muscles. So when we get this problem with breathing, when we get very tense, the muscles, all these intercostal muscles around the ribcage, get very blocked. So it restricts our movement. It also puts a lot of pressure onto the structural muscles in the back and also up into the neck. So what we're going to do is bring our hands together and we're going to flow from side to side. So taking the arms up above us, bringing one hand to the side, keep that arm nice and soft so it allows a bend, and we're going to flow over and then release, bring the hands together and then over to the other side. And this is going to be a nice fluid movement where we're just rocking, trying to keep the body working from the side rather than rounding forward or rounding back. Keep that integrity through the spine. Just keep working over and release, and then over and release. Let's have 2 more either side. Over and release, and again over and release. 1 more either side. Over and release, and then over and release. And this time as I come over, we're going to hold it. So we're coming over, keeping this underneath the arm nice and bent. And what I want you to do is gently start moving around in this position. And notice as we look down to the mat, we go more into the back muscles, and then we start looking up towards the ceiling, not being led by the head, but by the body. We then move into the front of the chest. So we get right into all those intercostal muscles around the sides. So this is really one of those postures you just want to do slowly with the breath, coming as far as you feel comfortable. Again, remember, it's not leading with the head, we're leading with the body. And then back to a neutral position, coming all the way over, getting some length, and then bringing the body up. And then let's do exactly the same on the other side. Coming over, getting nice length through the body, keeping this underarm nice and soft. And again, coming up towards the ceiling, and then down towards the floor, up towards the ceiling, down towards the floor. Let's have 1 more either way. Up towards the ceiling, find that expanse, really stretching into that hip, and down towards the floor, feeling it transition now into the back to that neutral position, coming across and releasing. And then just again, we want to have that relaxation, allow that energy to radiate around the body. So bringing your hands onto your knees, closing your eyes, and have 4 deep connected breaths, really breathing in, finding the energy, the oxygen, nourishing every single cell in the body, and just allowing that prana, that energy, to radiate round the body. Enjoying the stillness that the breath brings to the body, enjoying the pause, the balance. And then opening our eyes. Now what we're going to do is work on some of these structural muscles into the back. Now the structural muscles are really important. We want to keep them nice and healthy. They're the muscles that if we suffer from any lower back problems, they're the ones that are going to protect. What happens is they also go into tightness if there's any discomfort in the lower back. So we want to make sure that they're healthy and nourished. So we're going to do this by doing these gentle twists. So bringing the arms out to the side. The elbows at shoulder height, hands nice and soft, trying not to keep the tension into the hands, and then relaxing the shoulders. Now if you're someone that holds tension into your neck, when you're in this position, you're going to have a tendency to start bringing these shoulders up. So just concentrate on this energy coming down through the shoulder blades. And then we're gently just going to come in from side to side. And I want you to find that gentle resistance and just touch it and then release. So as we come round just at that point, I find my resistance and I'm going to back off and come round to the other side. So those structural muscles are working, but we stop before we put any pressure or any tightness into them. So it's perfect if you hold a lot of tension or tightness into the lower back. So if you do a lot of gardening, or you've been leaning over or sitting down for long periods of time, driving is a killer. We really want to get some movement into those muscles. It's also fantastic for the digestive system. Just notice how we're creating this squeeze and release into the stomach. Really enjoyable feeling into the stomach where we're getting this activity. So if we've got a sluggish digestive system, this is just perfect. Let's have a couple more. You're going to start feeling the heat building up into the shoulders, and that's exactly what we want. Let's get a little bit of strength into these shoulders. Let's have a couple more. And now we're going to do double time. Again, engage the core muscles, engage the pelvic floor, and keep it controlled. So we're not working on momentum, but we're actually working into those core muscles. Just from side to side. And release, doing exactly the same. Rest those arms down, feeling that lovely feeling in the shoulders. There's all that energy radiating down through the body. Let's close our eyes and 4 deep breaths. Breathing and releasing. And then relaxing. Taking hold of our belt, what we're going to do now is we're going to take the arms up above the head with a long, wide width. So notice my arms are straight, and we want to avoid this bending. So the arms are nice and straight out to the side, taking hold of the belt, and we're going to do exactly the same. We're going to do this twisting, but this time the arms are above the head. Just rocking from side to side. Trying to create a little bit of movement into the shoulders, and then relax, and then we're coming from side to side. Now notice my arms aren't bending, but it's allowing me to get in some deeper muscles into the shoulders and to the side of the body, keeping your arms nice and straight from side to side. This again, we want to be thinking about our anchor point in this position, so engaging the pelvic floor muscles, engaging the core muscles. You'll notice that the thighs are slightly activated to create further feelings of anchoring and foundation in the posture, and then release. Just move the belt out of the way. Now the shoulders are nice and warm. The side of the body, we've worked into our structural muscles. We've also activated the core and got the digestive system working. So now let's work down into the legs. So taking your cushion out from behind, we're going to lay down using your belt. And first of all, we're going to do a gentle hamstring stretch. So coming down onto the mat, let's have a little bit of a hugging with the knees first of all. As we hug into the knees, it rebalances the lower part of that spine. It's nice after we've been in a seated position. So as we come in and we bring the knees into the chest, if you separate the knees slightly and come towards the underarms, trying to relax the arms down onto the mat, you then radiate a little bit more into the hips and into the inner thighs. And now bring your right foot down onto the mat, keeping that knee going up towards the ceiling, and then extend the left leg up towards the ceiling with your belt. And here what we're going to do is a little bit of hamstring work. All we want to do is bring that leg in towards the body. Now notice we want to work with a straight leg. We can get the leg much further in if we bend the knee, but that's not what we're wanting. We're not just working on the top part of this hamstring. We want to work on the whole range, and therefore we need to have the leg straight. So if you've got really hypermobile knees, make sure you don't lock them out, but just gently find that point of resistance. If your legs are very cold, then that point of resistance is not going to be that far in. As the legs start warming up, the body temperature starts warming up, you get a lot more flexibility into the muscles. But we just want to be gentle with that hamstring. Now notice I'm literally just taking hold of the belt. I'm not hanging on for dear life and pulling that leg into the body. We want to keep this work soft. The minute you start creating tension into the belt, hugging in, pulling that into the body, you're creating again this fight and flight response into the body. And what we want to do is find that gentle resistance wherever it is for you. So for some people, just straightening the leg is difficult. If they've spent a lot of time sitting down, or sports where this hamstring is extremely tight, then straightening the leg at a 90-degree angle is extremely difficult. So find your point. It might only be here where the leg is straight, and then you're gently just working into that resistance. Everyone's point is going to be different. So finding the point, and what we're doing is gently in and out of the resistance. So we're not pulsing against it, but we're just finding the resistance and softening into the leg. And then release. And now what I want us to do is turn the leg in. So notice it's not just my foot, the whole leg is coming in, as though we're doing a pigeon toe movement, and then come across the body and back. And we're going to do 8 of these, across the body and back. Again, notice the softness in my hand. There's no tension in my arm. I'm not creating tension in my neck. It's just allowing us to work a little bit deeper, but protecting completely the back into these leg muscles. Gently working in and out. In and out. Let's have one more. In, and let's hold it. Notice that this right leg is not flopping out to the side. We want to keep the knee up towards the ceiling, and then bring it back to a neutral position, and then turning out. So notice now that the whole leg is turned out. You sometimes have to do it physically yourself as you move the leg out to the side, and then we're coming towards the back wall. In and out. In and out. And let's have 6 more. Gently working in and out. So notice we're not going from side to side. We've rotated that hip joint, so the knee is coming out towards the shoulder, the ankle's coming out towards the shoulder, and now we're going in the direction of my shoulder. So it's not coming from side to side. It's probably quite hard to see on the video. So pay attention to the direction of the leg and then release. What we're going to do now is let go of this belt, bring the ankle onto the knee, and then if you've got any knee problems, just be careful of creating this opening. But if your knees are okay, then bringing this leg into the body and feeling this lovely stretch down into the glute, down into the side of the leg, into the hip. So really releasing stretch And let's have 4 deep breaths here. The more you relax into these stretches, the more flexibility and more release you'll find. And then relax. Let's do exactly the same on the other side. So left foot down onto the mat, grabbing hold of your belt, placing it onto the sole of the foot, and then extending the leg up. So find that straight position. Okay, so again, if it's here, that's perfect. But what we don't want is this bend in the leg. Now look at your leg, because through years of teaching, I noticed some people just don't even know when their leg is still bent. So just check in. And again, check if you've got hypermobility that you're not overextending. And then gently, very softly with the belt, coming back and forward. Gently back and forward. And then we're just coming into that resistance and then releasing. No tension. I'm literally just easing with my fingers this belt. I want the upper body to be completely soft. Let's have 4 more. As we come in, this front of the thigh is working. We get this nice stretch down the back and out and in and out. Let's have 2 more. In and out, and again in and out. Now we're changing round, we're coming in, so we're rotating round to the side as though we're in this pigeon toe position and coming across the body. Gently working, activating the muscles down the side of the legs into the hips. Let's have 4 more. Cross and release. Across and release. 2 more. Across and release. And last one, across and release. Now we're rotating out. So remember, it's not the matter of just turning your foot out. We want this whole movement from ankle, knee into the hip joint. And we're coming across in towards my shoulder. We're going to have 8 of these. That's 6 more. And 5, again, keep that tension out of the shoulders. We're working the legs. This is just a guide. We're not using the belt to pull the leg in. It's just a guide. Let's have 2 more. Across and out. And last one, across and release. Taking the belt down to the side, bringing the leg onto the knee, stabilizing this top leg, and then gently bringing the knee into the chest. Breathing, enjoying, trying to create as much softness in the body and get this nice stretch down into the side of the leg, into the hip, into the bottom. Breathing and releasing, enjoying the expanse of the breath. And then release. Let's hug the knees into the chest and then extend the legs up towards the ceiling. Again, we're working on straight legs. So wherever that is for you. Now, if you're really tight in the hamstring and to get your legs straight is right down here, then only work one at a time, because having both legs down here puts a lot of strain onto the lower back and you've got to work really hard into the stomach. So if you can get to about this position and then separate the legs, and then what we're doing is just bringing one leg in at a time. So notice we're not doing this scissoring action. One leg stays stationary and one leg comes in, and then we're changing over. And we've separated the legs to about the width of the mat. And we're going to do 4 either side, 4 more. Try and keep the legs up at 90 degrees. So as they come in, they're coming past that 90-degree angle. And let's have 2 more either side. In and out, in and out, in and out, in and out. Excellent. Now cross the legs over, bring the feet down, so my feet are coming towards my bottom, and then we're going to drop these legs out, and it's going to get this nice stretch down into the front of the thighs. So as we've just worked the legs, bring them in and out, we've really used those muscles. So now we're getting a nice stretch, and at the same time, let's bring our arms above the head to release into the shoulders. Try and bring as much connection down into the mat as possible. And we're going to have 4 nice deep breaths as we breathe in, arching the back off the mat. And as we breathe out, bringing the lower back down into the mat. Let's have 3 more. One more nice deep breath as we breathe in, lifting up into the chest, into the stomach, and as we breathe out, drawing that lower back down into the mat. And relaxing, let's bring the arms down. We're going to come up now into a seated position, so rock the body up, and then rocking all the way over. And we're going to come into a flow, which is a child flow variation. So what we want to do is bring the forearms down onto the mat. Knees are hip distance apart, directly underneath the hips. So what we're doing is engaging the core muscles and bringing the body across. Now, depending on the strength of your shoulders and your upper arms, it's going to depend how far you come. So you coming where you're looking down at the hand is perfect. But if you want to work a little bit deeper, you can bring the chin past the hands. And then what we're doing is coming back into a child pose variation. Notice my bottom's up towards the ceiling still, but we're getting this nice deep stretch into the back of the body. So the forearms don't come off. They don't move as we come back into child pose. As we come forward, we really work into the shoulders and the upper arms. As we come back, we get this nice deep stretch. The bottom coming back towards the heels, but at the same time, we're getting this lovely stretch underneath the shoulders into the lower back. Let's have 4 more. Coming forward and back. And forward and back. And forward and back. And then 1 more, coming forward and back. And this nice deep stretch. And then bringing the body up into your downward facing dog. And just stretching through a little bit more into the back of the legs. Coming into your stable downward facing dog. And just enjoying that length through the back of the body. Heels coming down towards the mat. Getting this nice length. Sit bones up towards the ceiling. And then coming across back into a tabletop position. And here what we're going to do is get a little bit more strength work into the back of the body. So extending your right leg back out behind you. Finding this length through the body. And what we're going to do is then take the other arm, so we've got the right leg back and the left arm forward, into this Superman position where we've got the arms straight out in front of us, legs straight out behind us, and then we're going to draw the elbow in towards the knee and then releasing back out again. We're going to do this 4 times. 2 and out, 3 and out, and then 1 more in, and let's hold it. See if we can draw the knee up a little bit closer into the body, and then back out again, and then release. We'll do exactly the same on the other side. Extend the left leg, and then the right arm forward, and we'll do 4 of these. Elbow in and out, elbow in towards the knee, and out, and again in and out, and 1 more. Bring it in, see if you can draw it up a little bit further, and then release, And then bring the hands back down, coming back into your downward facing dog, stretching through the back of the body, and then bringing the right leg through. Here we're going to do a little bit more hamstring work, taking hold of two of your blocks, taking them either side. So they're here if you need to use them if your hamstrings are a little bit tight. And what we're going to do is gently coming up into this low level back bend, finding length through the body, height through the spine, lifting up, and then we're going to rock forward, releasing, bringing the hands either side. You can bring the blocks a little bit higher, and then straightening into both legs. So notice the back heel's up, and we're getting this nice long length through the hamstring. Now if you've got really tight hamstrings, then just keep that front leg a little bit bent and start working in towards finding some length into the hamstrings. If you haven't, you want to go a little bit deeper, you can bring the blocks down or take them out altogether and folding into this position. And then release, and then we're coming again back into this lovely crescent shape where we're working into that hip flexor, finding length through the spine, and then release. Let's have one more, coming into your position, whichever is comfortable for you, and then dropping down, finding length into the front leg, and then extending back into that back leg, and then release. We're going to step the legs forward and then step the other leg back. We're going to do exactly the same on the other leg, making sure that the knee is not over the ankle, getting this nice long length of the body. Let's do a lunge first of all, this low level lunge, lifting up through the body, lifting up, finding length into this soft back bend, opening into the hip flexor, using a cushion underneath your knee if your knees are sore, and then release, bringing your hands down onto the blocks if you're using them, straight into that back leg, straight into that front leg, folding over the body, breathing and releasing, enjoying the stretch. Let's have one more, dropping down, tucking that back foot under, finding length through the body, lifting into this back bend, tailbone going down, working into this hip flexor, finding this opening through the body, the shoulders are coming down, finding this energy lifting up towards the ceiling, and then release again. Let's tuck that back foot under, straightening into that back leg, strengthening into the front, folding over, enjoying the stretch through the body. Again, softening into that front knee if you've got hypermobility, or stiff into the hamstrings. Let's have one last one, dropping down, tucking under, lifting up, finding length through the body, opening into the chest, opening into that hip flexor, breathing and then releasing, tucking the heel back, straightening both legs, finding length through the body, folding over, enjoying this hamstring stretch, breathing and releasing. And then let's draw to the end of our practice today as we bring both knees down onto the mat, moving your cushion out the way and coming in to a nice seated position. And here what we're going to do is gently bring awareness back into the breath. In fact, what I'm going to do is I'm going to use a block underneath my sit bones to get this comfortable position. And then I'm just going to bring all that awareness that we've brought into our practice down into the body. Let's close the eyes, taking some nice deep breaths, stabilizing the breath, and bringing our full awareness into the stomach. Notice the expansion and the release. And I want us to feel as much length into this breath. As we breathe, we're finding expansion into the stomach, into the chest, and through the spine, from the tailbone to the crown of the head. Breathing and releasing. Breathing and releasing. Bring our awareness into the face, softening the muscles behind the eyes and bringing your focus of attention into the third eye, focusing on that point between and just above the eyebrows internally, focusing into that point, breathing and releasing. As we breathe in, let's breathe in the clarity of that third eye, that chakra point. Breathing in and softening across the forehead. Be focusing your attention on the space just above the eyebrow center. Imagine this beautiful indigo light radiating from that point. Wonderful, sparkling vortex of energy. As we breathe in, it becomes clearer and brighter. And as we breathe out, we feel that clarity radiating down the whole of the body. Breathing in, the ability to see what's really true for us. Breathing in and seeing that clarity and integrity. As you breathe in, focusing on that point. Imagining this indigo light radiating out from that point, creating this circle of energy that engulfs the whole of the body, radiating out as though we've got this beautiful indigo shield around us. As we breathe in, that light becomes clearer and brighter. And then relaxing the shoulders, relaxing the spine, creating the integrity through the spine without allowing the body to collapse its energy down into the lower back. But as we breathe in, we feel this energized body expanding where we found space in our practice, where we've connected in with the breath, working the energy centers of the body and enjoying that sense of stillness that the practice of yoga brings us. And then gently opening your eyes. Namaste.